he's a lone player that you've brought in to kind of plug a gap and, you know, take advantage of. Yeah, you're right. It is strange that he's not getting in the side. Paul O'Brien got in touch. He said, needed this win. 1, to keep our distance from the bottom 4. Well played in patches, scored some good tries. When we went 20 points up, we lacked concentration and made silly mistakes. Need to cut out the penalties we keep conceding. Thought we were going to throw it away, but managed to hang on for a hard-earned win. Thought the referee had a good game, and this is another referee making his Super League televised debut, wasn't it?
Well, last week we said who's Jay Smith. This week everyone knows all about him because his story's been told,
and it's a fantastic story
across
as well,
the online platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't need us to wax too much more lyrical about that, but he had a very good game.
It's always impressive when an individual bounces back from a serious piece of misfortune, let's say, and what he's done to do that is something that's always impressive and inspiring, and probably gives him a little bit of slack in terms of criticism as officials go. But Steve-O didn't let him off, so I think that's kind of like good to see as well. I don't think he should get preferential treatment because he...
No, and I certainly wouldn't ask for it either, being the kind of guy he
was injured in the line of duty. But, you know, absolutely inspiring story for anyone out there. If you love the sport and you can be involved in it in that sort of way, stay involved in it. You know, we're never fit enough or have the eyesight or the impartiality to be Super League referees.
No, we'd make absolutely woeful referees.
But we know the rules.
Yeah.
More than some people.
Yeah. But would we be near enough to see what actually happened?
No, we would not.
I'm sending it upstairs. I've got a try. Let's call it a try. See what the video does.
We wouldn't be able to get there to do the area of the square, so we'd be like hands on knees saying, just go to it.
Get the screen. Yeah, we certainly would. Okay. Mark Butler then, he got in touch, said, good to get an away win after recent poor form, although you'd expect to feel better about winning by 10 on the road than I actually do. It was a bit of a strange game at times. To have ended up relieved at the end takes the shine off it a little. A win is a win though, hopefully only a couple more needed to secure a top 8 spot. David Brown got in touch and he simply said, rugby league, what a sport. It was almost turned into a hell of a comeback, didn't it? Bob Phillips said, please can we have a reading of the operational rules on short kickoffs next week? Yeah, did you see this kickoff? This is the one that
of course I did.
Went 10 in the sky, according to the referee, and then came back and was not 10.
Given that the cameras didn't do us any favours to show us where the ball actually went, I think it's reasonable to give the referee the benefit of the doubt on that one. He was better positioned than even the cameras were, and the ball did seem to have that sort of trajectory.
It did
when it came back. So
and the wind blows that way in at Castleford, so it's
the ball
feasible.
Just has to go 10 metres. It doesn't have to be on the ground. Like the referee explained on his microphone, you could hear it, and then Stuart Cummings, I'm sure, cleared it all up as he does. Whether people choose to ignore that or not, I don't know. That's the only value he does add when he tells people the rules rather than giving his opinions on the application of them. All in all,
no need to get the operational rules out, thank the Lord. Cheers there, Bob. Paul Ludo Lewis, last words for him on this one.
I'll tell you what, if someone had scored a try that might have changed the result, then it would have been a fury, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. So we might have been reading the operational rules then.
Darryl Powell does not know how to take a rule book correct decision from a referee and just let it go in his press conferences.
I think he just saves tithes a certain amount of his wages every week in so I can talk shit about referees fund. And then, then he's all right, and he doesn't notice that he's coming out of his account. Paul Ludo Lewis, a great performance by the Vikings, helped, of course, by a surprisingly below-par Castleford. Just glad we had a big enough cushion for the win when Castleford finally did decide to show up. Well done to Paddy Flynn, but a Widnes'd player scoring a hat-trick against Widnes while still being a Widnes'd player is the most Widnes thing ever. I think if he earned himself a 2-year deal on the back of the action, that would have been the most Widnes thing ever. So to Friday night then, and over to East Hull. It was Hook R18, Wigan 20. Bit of a scare towards the end for, well, not a bit of a scare, sorry, a bit of a comeback win, and Wigan winning it right at the death through your best mate ever, Sam Tompkins.
Yeah, I listened to this one on the radio and it sounded like Wigan started the game great first 15-20 minutes. Wigan then were not very good for periods, and then the second half started and Wigan just decided to be rubbish. They were dropping the ball a lot. I mean, the conditions weren't great. They were dropping the ball a lot. They were missing tackles. They were playing the ball with no dummy half there to take the ball, and that sort of swung the game around. And Hull KR, to their credit, were able to take advantage of that and take a lead that looked like it was going to be pretty unassailable. With the way the conditions were going and the way Wigan had gone completely off the boil. But fortunately for me, unfortunately for Hull KR fans, it swung around. Having seen highlights of the game now, like I've seen the 15-minute chunk of highlights, and it does seem like the conditions weren't great, but it also seems like Hull KR could have been beaten if Wigan had really hit the straps and got on the end of some of the stuff they'd set up in the first 20 minutes. But credit to them for...
Did they lose Campese in this one, or did he...
He got taken off. I don't believe it was an injury.
Well, he's out now.
Oh, is he?
In the papers, yeah. That's why I wondered if he'd been out halfway through the game or whether he'd been out.
No, he walked off during the game.
Well, it's his hamstring.
Oh, well, that bit of news hadn't come through to me. I think... The thing that's going to be talking point from a Hull KR fan perspective will be the first Don Manfredi try in this game, which was very early on and a little bit contentious because it was unclear. It's still unclear from the replays I've seen, really, from the camera is on the far side of the pitch to where it happened. There was the touch judge, the in-goal judge, and the referee all quite close. They all gave it a try. The in-goal judge was quite insistent, and he possibly had, or appeared to be quite insistent from the nature of the conversation they had.
Right.
The touch judge gave it, but didn't have the best view necessarily, because what happened is Manfredi went on top of the Hull KR defending player as he was trying to tackle him. Manfredi rolled over the top of him. They were out of play at this stage, but Manfredi got the ball down.
Right.
The issue is whether one of Manfredi's legs or knees got over the player, which the touch judge wouldn't have been able to see, but the in-goal judge would have.
Yeah.
Of the Hull KR fans that you could see in shot stood very close to the action. Only one of them was noticeably aggrieved at the decision.
Do you think he's the one that knows the rules, though?
Well, no, because everyone knows if a player's in touch, because everyone saw Kieran Dixon get tackled into touch when he was flying to score a try just at the other end about half a minute before.
It's tough work playing devil's advocate with you. Carry on.
But, so I don't know. I still don't know. But ultimately, I don't think that, whilst it was decisive because it was only a 2-point margin, that happened in the second or third minute of the game, and there was a lot of the game to go before then. I also think Albert Kelly threw a forward pass to Thomas Mins on the setup for one of his tries.
Yes.
So
the one where back inside.
The one where he ends up off Ken Seo, those two passes looked borderline okay to me. The one from Mins to Seo and Seo back to Mins, but the first flat ball from Kelly to Mins looked forward to me. You've got to take the rough with the smooth on that sort of thing, especially when it's so early in the game.
Yeah.
Sam Tompkins was kind of the main man for Wigan in creating things and sorting things out. We'll get to the stats, but he had a big role to play. Okay,
so what stats did the game throw up for us then?
Well, Wigan's 3 more clean breaks, which is rare that Wigan have twice as many clean breaks as the other team this season.
Yeah.
3 fewer errors, 232 more metres translated into more attacking position and 1 more try. They also had a little better average gain and 4% better team tackle success. In short, Wigan won on all the key numbers. The total error count of 35 would have been the highest this year had it not been for the other 2 games on Friday night.
Yes.
More of that later.
Yeah.
Sam Tompkins, he got a try, 3 try assists, 5 tackle busts. Don Manfredi got 2 tries, 7 tackle busts, 2 clean breaks. Anthony Gelling, who scored his 1 try, despite being a bit crocked by that stage of the game late on, but he scored a try, 151 metres, 3 successful offloads for Anthony Gelling, so he made an impact on his return from injury. Lewis Tierney, late call up into the side for Dan Sarginson, who pulled out in the warm-up with a quad strain. That was 5 tackle busts, 153 metres, 2 clean breaks for Lewis Tierney. Josh Charnley moved into centre in this one with the reshuffle late on. Bit shame that Gildart wasn't in the 19.
Yeah.
But still, it worked out okay because Wigan won. Tierney had a good game, and one of his 2 clean breaks was decisive. It set up the Gelling try that got Wigan back into it after the Mitch Allgood had sort of given them the advantage, really.
So Lewis Tierney modelling one of the 5 or 6 shirts that you've got a choice of for next year. Will you be voting for the Croatia home strip, or in fact, I think I've seen I anticipate you liking either the one that's pretty close to cherry and white stripes or the one that's basically plain red and looks a bit like a training top. I thought they would be one of the two that you...
No, I'm not into the plain red whatsoever.
Right, okay, so which one do you like then?
The
stripy, the one that's closest to the actual home strip.
The hoops one's good. I don't like the striped one, the one that's like a piece of rock. I don't like that at all. It's either
I meant hoops, not stripes.
It's either the hoops one or the checkerboard, but the red and white one.
The Croatia home strip?
I would actually probably... They're the only 2 of those 6 shirts that I would buy.
Yeah.
That's a Wigan home shirt. Because they're the only 2 that have red and white in good measure. Yes. Apart from the stupid rock design one.
So tell us about Hull KL then, who stood out for them?
Well, Thomas Minns grabbed his try and 130 running metres as well. Mitchell Allgood, to add to his try, had 115 metres. Kieran Dixon 122 metres, and Ken Seo a try assist and 149 metres. We didn't really get any fan reviews in on this, we just got one message in, Tom.
Yes, we did, and it was our friend Tyler Cass-fan who knows exactly what I like to hear. He said, a late winner for local hero. Sam Tompkins causes a shortage of Kleenex within a 10-mile radius of Wigan. Does that not overlap into St Helens then? Well, not quite.
Yeah, it doesn't reach Kirkham.
Doesn't quite reach Kirkham, although to be fair, there will have been a fair shortage of it in Kirkham as well, or at least...
I don't have the money for branded.
Although, to be fair...
Not with the amount of stuff I have to work.
You could have just taken it out on your good lady wife. You didn't have to nip upstairs for a wank, did you? Okay.
To be fair, his influence is...
It's growing, isn't it? And he's settling back in, and it is
the sooner he gets fully fit and operational, he'll be, I'm sure, I desperately hope, showing a bit more speed off the mark and then making a few more breaks as well as setting up the positions for other people. But the try he scored was good to see.
Definitely. I think his time down under has definitely done him the world of good in terms of his own development. He certainly seems to be more of a senior voice on the field as well.
Yeah, the only hindrance is, has some of his pace gone with the injuries? We'll find that out in time.
In due course, hopefully he gets some.
But he'll become an excellent halfback then, won't he? If he loses, if his pace has gone soon.
There you go.
Never hurt Brett Hodgson either, did it?
No. If he works on his positional sense, then he should be fine. Okay, so whilst that game was going on, it was also Leeds' turn to get a victory, 8-0 over Salford, and it certainly was a dour affair in the rain over at Headingley. Honestly, Mark, if Leeds were going to get a win, not necessarily over Salford, but when their next win came, it was going to be this kind of game, wasn't it? Because they weren't suddenly going to turn into world beaters and just do someone by 40 points. They were going to get a scrappy, nasty win in shit conditions against another dour team, and that's basically what Salford and Leeds served up on Friday night in front of, I'm imagining, the highest attended game of the weekend at 14 and a bit thousand.
There was nothing exceptional, nothing standout on the numbers for this one that was positive, which isn't surprising, from a team perspective, which isn't surprising given the scoreline. People who were moaning all year about Sky cutting into the main game with highlights from another game must have loved this game because there was only one try to show.
No real reason.
But one of a number of low-scoring affairs this weekend, and it wasn't pretty. I'm sure. I've not even bothered to watch the highlights because I saw the try.
Yeah, well, that's all I saw. Yeah, I couldn't say a tremendous bit more. All I'll say is that if Jamie Jones-Buchanan isn't Leeds' Player of the Year at the end of the season awards, then there's something going on, because in a team that has really struggled this year for a number of reasons, I think Jamie Jones-Buchanan has been, a shining light, hasn't he?
Certainly committed to a fault, yeah. Leeds made more ground from fewer carries, a big 1.4 metres per carry better. They also had an extra break, but 2 more errors and 2% worse team tackle success. Kind of, like I say, it was a bit here and there on the numbers. The total of 38 errors would have been the highest in 2016 if it wasn't for the final game on Friday night. More on that story later. Individually, Mitch Garber 188 metres, Keith Galloway 10 marker tackles, 135 metres, so a bit of both ways from Big Keithy. Brett Ferris 129 metres, Jamie Jones-Buchanan 45 tackles, 11 marker tackles.
30 fully justifies his place in the Yorkshire Origin side.
I probably wouldn't be picking him at his age, but
for a one-off game, he'd be all right.
Yeah. Well, it's certainly working.